I'll just add my reflections again that we're so appreciative of everyone in this room, and I think there's so much excitement and potential and innovation just in this room. And I think our respective collective challenge together is going to be to continue this conversation, as many of you have said, and stay invigorated and stay patient through the ups and downs and the things that get us excited, and then the things that get us frustrated because they're not going quite right. And so we really welcome your feedback and insight about how to keep that going. We're going to be continuing these conversations and making spaces for them with increasing amounts of interactivity as we continue to move forward. But I challenge all of you to be thinking about how you can do the same and how we can be coming together in that work. And with that, Matt, I'll pass it to you to close us out.
So I'm going to go against Mark's advice and not lead with the takeaways. But I'm going to lead with the logistics. So a few things. One, thank you everyone for coming. We can make presenter slides available, so let us know if you'd like to have access to presenter slides. Thank you all for sharing your expertise with us. I mentioned earlier, November 12th, we're going to be at the ARC. That will again be a half day. We are also going to include an interactive and sort of a working group component to the next 3 meetings as well. So please stay tuned about topics and content and logistics there, but please hold November 12th if you can. Please also reach out to us, to Lee and to me, to Lori and Kimberly and James at Aspen, to other folks in the room, if you have specific ideas around content, speakers, and structure for how to make these meetings most useful over these next 9 or 10 months in which we're planning to hold them. So please be in touch with us about those. And then last, really want to thank Aspen for hosting us. This is something that is such an important role that Aspen plays. Thank the Ascend team, Marjorie and Lori and Kimberly and James again for their leadership and for all of their support. Thank our panelists for traveling across the country and for making us think about, there may be some things that are appealing about a legislative group meeting every 2 years. But I see the challenges as well. I'm also so grateful that I know how to spell siloed now. I never actually figured that out before. It's on the slide, so I know. And we have so much local expertise as well, and a lot of really, really good conversations that are going. So we're not starting from scratch. We are inspired. We are activated and motivated around these issues right now, everyone in this room. So continuing to think about, how do we take the example that Barbara shared with us from Colorado and figure out what are our goals? Where do we want to be in 3, 5, 7 years? How do we define those? And how do we use Barbara's humble advice and expertise to sort of start to set up those milestones and markers now in ways that we can really act on that can help us to tell the story better. And then at what point do we do a design process? At what point do we do the mapping that has been recommended to us from folks in Austin? What is our Trojan horse? I mean, I think that Seema mentioned earlier, maybe our Trojan horse is community violence. Thinking about families impacted by violence this week in DC and how that impacts brain health. To have episodes of violence in which children are being hurt or killed, the impacts that those are having on their classmates, neighbors, parents, grandparents, siblings. That's brain health, right? And it's happening in our community right now. And if we can use that as a leverage point in which to create a kind of transformation that is really going to be responsive, deeply, deeply responsive to what's going on. We have a judge with us today. Judge Leibowitz is here from DC Superior Court, and how it speaks to how much this is keeping people up at night. That people are taking a day out of their summer or out of their work day to be here and to help us think about this. I think is evidence of how motivated we are. So let's push this forward. Let's stay engaged. Let's to figure out what is our frame, what is our Trojan horse to make the kind of change, to do the kind of engagement, to take incremental processes that are already happening and progress being made, but also to really kind of swing for the fences and think bigger about what it can and should look like here, because we can do it here. I mean, if you can do it in Texas, for goodness sake, you can do it here. Sorry. So let's go. Let's do it. Stay engaged. Alan, yes.
Will there be some sort of an open forum for all of us to exchange so that we can see in real time Q&A responses? To get to your point, to how do we really move the conversation collectively together?
Yeah, I think yes, and I was thinking the same thing sitting here, that we look for a follow-up from the organizers of today that will provide an avenue for sharing immediate feedback or feedback over in days and weeks to come. And when we convene again in November, there is going to be a much more active component to that half day or day, and we can sort to dig into some of these questions and challenges. But I think you're absolutely right. We will create the forum in which to have this dialogue. So thanks for mentioning it.
I'll also add, we've been taking notes from today and are going to be working and compiling some of those so that we can share. We know there was a lot of information. We'll make presentations available, but also kind of working to see if we can collate those notes into something that is useful and shareable for the group when you're a couple months from now like, oh, what again did they say? And again, our intent is for those to with each progressive session, we'll continue to pull those together so that when we're done, we have really a sort of continuum of information of this really rich discussion that we've had. So as we are mentioned many times, this is the start to a conversation. One of our, we thought a lot about how to frame pulling something like this together, and while we really love really big, exciting summits. We found that sometimes there's a lot and everybody comes and they're super excited for the day, and then it sort of fizzles off as we all get back to our day-to-day work. And so we really wanted to sort of shift that approach to a series of smaller summits to really build our thinking and our energy and really sort of build the momentum towards long-standing change.
And so along those lines, tell your colleagues, tell your council members, tell people about this, about what was useful about this, and let's get them here for the next one.
Yeah.
And let's need a bigger room.